Welcome to the Esme Creates podcast. I am Esme, an illustrator and a creative coach, and with this podcast, I want to share through my modern witchy mind that there is a lot more to starting a creative business than just being able to do your craft well, so that you can actually be successful doing what you love most, which I am guessing is being creative. Please note that depending on where you are listening, there is a video and an audio version of this podcast. On YouTube at Esme Creates, you can watch along, journal and draw with me videos, or you can listen to the audio only version on all your favorite podcast apps. Enjoy! Hi, and welcome to another episode. So before we get into the topic of today, let me share with you that in the video version of this podcast, you will see a screen recording of me working on a poster illustration that I actually made as a gift to my newborn niece. So actually that ties in really well with today's topic, which is all about getting or not getting the support from the people around you in your creative career. By the way, I am dog sitting my dad's dog today, who's a sweetie, but he also likes to make weird sounds sometimes. So if you hear anything strange, it's probably him. So this week I want to talk to you about a bit of a confronting and sometimes also a bit of a heavy topic. It's something that also came up in one of my coaching calls recently, and I realized that this is something that I feel like almost all creatives deal with to some degree, including myself. Although it is definitely something that I have released for the most part. Because the topic I want to talk to you about today is people in your surroundings and also the people you love not understanding your path, basically. So yeah, that could definitely be something like not supporting your creative career or at least making comments about it. But it could also be when you're growing your consciousness, which you probably know by now I highly recommend doing when you want to have a successful creative business. When you are growing your consciousness, your spiritual awareness, and people around you just don't really understand what you're doing or they don't follow what you're doing anymore. And you just don't feel the support, basically. And yeah, that can be pretty confusing and hurtful when that happens, especially when it's something that you are very excited by and the people around you are reacting in a way that's not very supportive, and they're people that you love, like a family member or your partner. And honestly, these comments can just be really shitty. Of course, it's not nice when you don't get the support you could really use when you are taking your creative career to a next level, which can already be a pretty daunting task to begin with. Whatever that means for you, bringing your creative career to the next level. It could be you finding a job as a graphic designer, but it could also be trying to make a living out of selling your art or anything in between. And trust me, I totally understand how complicated this can be, because I've always been a super creative kid, and my mom even told me when I was really young, I remember, that I probably wouldn't end up in an office job but would do something creative. But even though she could see that in me, and they were my parents were kind of nurturing that, at the same time though, as I got older, there was a lot of stress on studying something that would get me job security. So when I got out of high school and it was time for me to pick what studies I wanted to do, I really wanted to study creative therapy, but I eventually went and studied communication and multimedia design because it had some creative aspect to it, but it would just mainly get me a high chance of getting a job. That was told to me back then. And in the back of my mind, I just always wanted to do more creative stuff like drawing, but I just genuinely didn't see that as an option because of the things that were being said to me. Stuff like, you better pick something that makes you money, or it's very hard to find work as an artist, or even impossible, or better pick something safe. So at the time, I didn't really know how to react to these types of comments, let alone go past them, until a few years ago, really. And now, when someone makes a comment about me having a creative career and being an illustrator, most of the time it doesn't even faze me when someone makes like a negative comment about that. And notice though I said most of the time because yes, I also still have certain triggers. However, I deal with them very differently now. So what changed in the meantime? Well, I want to explain it with an example that I think makes it very clear. So imagine someone asks you what your favorite color is. And in this example, it's pink. So my favorite color is pink. So let's say pink. So you tell that person it's pink. Now, this person reacts really offended. They think it's ridiculous and your favorite color should be blue. Now, when it comes to something as silly as your favorite color, you would probably not instantly change your mind, or you wouldn't feel triggered or offended by it. You can probably confidently say to that person that your favorite color really is pink and that you're sure of it. Why doesn't that faze you? Why doesn't that trigger you? Because you are very certain pink is your favorite color and there's no attachment to caring about what your favorite color is. You don't care about the fact that you don't agree on such a silly topic. But now imagine that you are telling someone that you want to start an art career or a creative career of some kind. And again, this person that you're telling this to reacts saying that they think that's ridiculous. But this time you actually might be triggered. You might feel attacked or scared. You might feel worried about what they think, or you might start questioning if you're making the right decisions. So then what? Well, we can't expect to be able to change the other person's comments or thoughts. Like, that's on them. So what you should do here is seeing these triggers as an invitation to build your own confidence in your belief, in your decisions, so that telling someone that you are starting a creative career will feel like telling someone your favorite color. Now, you might say or think to yourself, yeah, but telling someone my favorite color is a lot more silly than telling someone about my creative career. Besides, this time they might actually have valid points. Telling me that my favorite color is blue instead of pink doesn't actually matter, but telling me that it's hard to make money as an artist might actually be true, especially when these people start bringing up like all kinds of examples of why they are right, like stories of failing artists. Well, if you feel this way, first of all, I want to say what is true. Because for every example of why pink is the best color, you can probably think of a reason why blue is. And it's the same for these comments around a creative career. Trust me when I tell you that for every example of why it is hard to have an art career, I can think of a success story for you. It's just where you decide to put your attention on. It's what you decide to believe. So what do you need to do in a situation like this? Start creating the same confidence in your creative career as you have in your favorite color. Start following or watching the people that are doing what you want to do and start seeing it as proof. Start reading, journaling, manifesting, visualizing, watching, whatever it takes to grow your belief that this is possible for you just as much as it is for those people that have made it. And then in the meantime, how do you deal with the people around you that don't believe in you or make these comments? Well, I would say that when someone is truly, truly negative or just plain mean, you might want to ask yourself if this is someone you want to keep associating yourself with to begin with, honestly. Like, you don't have to keep dealing with people, even if you can handle it, even if you can handle the triggers, that doesn't mean you should keep associating yourself with these people. But if you feel like that's not an option, if you feel like these are people you want to keep in your life, or they just make small comments every once in a while that make you uncomfortable, just look at every triggering comment as an invitation to build your own confidence around it and distance yourself from the conversation when you need to until you are ready to approach it as if it's your favorite color. And the funny thing is that when you start feeling this way, the comments actually heavily reduce, trust me. People are a lot less likely to make hurtful comments about it when your energy around this topic shifts. So I hope that made sense. I think this is really, really important to understand. And I hope that you could integrate what I've been telling you in this podcast. And if you liked listening to this, I would love to hear from you. Let's open up the conversation in the comment section if you have feelings or thoughts about this. I really hope it helped. And listen to it again if you want to really integrate this into your life, because I think it's really important to be able to be strong in our decisions so that it's going to be even easier to follow our path as a creative. So thank you so much for listening. Give it a like or a good rating if you enjoyed it, and I'll see and hear you in the next one. Bye.